Michigan replay. It's the Wolverines over the Irish in a clash of the Titans. We'll have the highlights. We'll also meet a very big leader of the very big offensive front. And we'll look ahead to a date out west as the Ducks of Oregon lay in wait for the Wolverines. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by The Joy of Pepsi and by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. Well, what a game on Saturday. The Wolverines of Michigan defeat Notre Dame 38-0. Lloyd, congratulations.
That was fun, Jim.
Boy, that was fun. Yeah. I'd say you had a record NCAA crowd in there. I think a lot of people had a good time, except the folks from Notre Dame.
Well, speaking of the crowd, Jim, they were a force. They were an unbelievable asset to our football team. I'll tell you that without any question.
I got to ask you a question here. After the game,
go ahead.
I know. But after the game, you talked about my biggest job now is I got to make sure that these guys don't take it to heart that everybody's patting them on the back.
Yeah.
And how do you do that?
Well,
and why do you have to do that?
Because they're 18, 19, 20 years old, and they just did something really special. I mean, in a rivalry like Notre Dame and Michigan, you can play 100 of these games and not have what happened on Saturday. But our job, we're just starting. We're just early in the season, and you have to get better, and hopefully they're mature enough. And I believe we've got guys on this football team to understand that.
So when you get slapped on the back, everybody telling you what a great, who keeps you from getting a little bit?
Well,
that's my job.
Yes, it is.
So
and I'm thankful for that.
Well,
I'm thankful because everybody needs it.
That's right. But that's the thing that you got to do. Keep their feet on the ground. It's a long season yet. Yeah. But this was a great victory, no question about it. Let's take a look at the highlights, and it starts not the way you'd like it to.
I don't think so.
This wasn't exactly.
We didn't want to turn the
script.
Football over down in the red zone, for goodness sakes. But they had a blitz call, and they had a free guy there. John didn't get rid of the football, and they made a play. And our defense, I think everybody on our team, when they came up with a stop here after giving the football to Notre Dame in that field position, we knew that this defense was ready to play.
It's one of those things where this defense on Saturday, everybody fed off that emotion and excitement, and the offense picked it up right after that.
Well, John hit Braylon there on his third read for good yardage and a first down.
And then you get some yardage early against them on the ground. And this was something, you weren't sure you could run on them like this early.
Jim, Notre Dame's an outstanding defensive football team. They were on the field too long as a result of our defense playing so well.
And what a great kick there by Finley.
Adam Finley is a weapon, Jim. The guy is just a great competitor, and he knocks Notre Dame now down inside the 10-yard line, which is defensively, that's where you love to play.
And speaking of weapons, Steve Breaston shows right here why he's a weapon.
Well, this football team, this punt return team, these guys are working hard. You see some great blocking there, and with Steve's ability to accelerate through a hole, I just wish he could have got in there. But what great field position that our offense had. And anytime you have the kind of field position we had offensively, you should score a lot of points.
Chris Perry right here goes over the top against the stacked defense, I might add, and you're able to get the 7-0 lead.
Well, it's hard to find anybody to criticize in this game, and our offensive line was, I thought, dominant. And our defensive line, Larry Stevens, a guy I felt out there most of the day.
And again, Breaston gets you out of what would be bad field position inside the 20. Well, here he goes again.
Yeah, Jim takes the ball on the 18-yard line, gets out, and he's not an easy guy to tackle, even though he's not a real big guy yet. But he's getting bigger.
And John Navarre, even though he didn't have what you call a spectacular day, he was very steady and workmanlike.
Jim, this kid stood right in there and hit Carl Tabb here. He stood in there all day long. He runs our offense. At the line of scrimmage, he's outstanding. He knows defensive football, gets us in the right play. and executes, hit 12 out of 19, 12 out of 19 third down situations in this game.
And you get the field goal even though you stop. But that puts you up more than a score, and that's a big point.
Well, anytime in a rivalry game, if you can take some kind of control early, it just gives you great momentum. And then if they make a mistake, and of course Marcus Curry made a great play there, he's in perfect position, and he came down with the football. That's, you know, a lot of times you don't get an interception, you get a knockdown. And Braylon made an outstanding catcher, great concentration on the ball, and we're knocking again, Jim.
And you go to Avant here, and he's wide open, great route.
Well, if you saw the protection there on that play, a play-action pass takes a long time to develop. We had great protection, and Jason got lost and got open, and John put it right on the money. And here he comes back again to a third read. He had two receivers wide to the left there. They were covered. He had the poise to and the discipline to come back and hit Chris.
And that made it 17-0. Here's another third down. Great pass to Tim Massaquoi, and you're really knocking on the door again. And hey, right before the half, you get a turnover here.
Well, yeah, we're in a position to really come out of there. But Jim, you know, we all hate turnovers, but that is a turnover. You got to give Notre Dame credit. Chris came through the line there. He had a safety, make a great hit, put his head on the ball. And obviously it's not an ideal position because we were in a position to go up 20 or 24-0.
And going into the locker room with the lead at half, 17-0, that's nothing because Notre Dame has already been there and they came back. So you know you're still in the ball game.
Well, in this football today, you saw some games last weekend where teams are down 20 points, they come back to win. So, but you know, what you have to be able to understand is that you can't change anything you're doing with that kind of lead. You got to keep pounding. You got to keep running your offense, hoping that you can continue to put points on the board.
Well, the Wolverines did just that on Saturday. We'll be back to take a look at the second half highlights. But first, we hear from Steve Breston saying that big games bring out the best in everybody.
Yeah, it was the biggest game. I mean, I was a little nervous at first. It's like the first game all over again, but this is Notre Dame, and you want to go in there. This is what you come to Michigan for. You want to play games like this, and I just want to get in and contribute and just do my part as on the team.
Is Michigan. If it's maize and blue and says Michigan, you'll find it at the M-Den. Whether toddler or grandparent, the perfect Go Blue gift ideas can be found at all M-Den locations, including Briarwood Mall catalog. Call us at 1-800-462-5836 or online at www.mgoblue.com. Live the tradition at the M-Den. Now, the Les Stanford Chevrolet Locker Room Report.
The team did a great job all around. The defense did a great job. The offense did a great job. We just came out and played a very good game this Saturday. Hopefully we can continue this throughout the season.
The Wolverines lead Notre Dame at halftime 17-0, and Lloyd, going into the second half, they make a mistake, try to come out of the end zone. Your special teams cover them great, hold them at the 10, and then the defense takes over and really sets the tone for your second half.
Jim, Julius Jones in a position to break the all-time return record at Notre Dame, replacing Tim Brown. So our kick returns were outstanding.
And here they start at their own 8, and you make a great play. Look
Lawrence
at that.
Reed. Lawrence Reed is one of those low-key guys, great kid, listens to everything, pay attention, good. But today, I saw more emotion from him in that game than I've seen.
And he's a kid, well, and this is Chris Perry Runner, but he's a kid coming back from some serious injury.
Yep.
To play again is a great thrill for him.
Yes, he is. But our defense, again, gave us great field position. And, Jim, this was a big score.
You bet it was. That made it 24-0. And really, now Notre Dame's in trouble because that your first possession. And literally, there's only about 4 minutes gone in the second half.
Well, this is one of the great individual plays I think Chris Perry's made since he's been at Michigan. Leaping there on a big third down play, keeps the drive alive.
Boy, this is the drive.
Yes.
Of the season, maybe. 19 plays, over 10 minutes long. A couple of those are near records.
Well, John, if you see some of these runs, you'll see Jason Avon out there doing a great job blocking. John Navarre here hit some critical third down plays. This kid, Carl Tabb, Jim, he gets better every day.
And then you get a contribution from David Underwood on a 3rd and 4.
Well, David picks up the first down there, and we're hustling around. We get the ball back there. But yeah, this is the kind of drive because it takes a lot of time off the clock. There's Kevin Dudley again, blocked extremely well. And of course, those guys up front, you can't say enough of them because they took control of the game on this drive.
They sure did. And this is the play that gets you in on 4th and goal from the 1. And it was a 10-minute, 25-second drive to go from 24-0 to 31-0. This one put it away. That was Michigan football.
Well, all those guys that played in the early 70s and 80s, they all love
know
that
what
drive.
A running game is all about, right?
Yeah, that was like the old days.
Yes, it was. But you had to love it, too.
Well, I did. And good pressure. Jim, another opportunity here you would never anticipate, but we got a lot of young guys in there for a few snaps, and again, it helps their development. Matt Gutierrez makes a good throw. Tyrese Butler's a guy that we need to come on and be a real contributor on this football team. And Jimmy Fisher, who's coming off knee surgery from last season, makes a catch here. So,
and how about this run by Pierre Rembert to close out the scoring?
Well, it's an excellent run. There's Pierre has got great feet, vision, make you miss, and he's gotten a lot of work this year.
And the final 38-0, and Pierre Rembert puts the exclamation point on it, and it's a great victory, and it's one of those that's unexpected because these games are always tight. But after the game, I was lucky enough to be in the locker room. You said, this is a great win, but men, next week, it's another one. You know, you're trying to get them focused week to week.
Well, Jim, we're going to play an outstanding football team, an outstanding program in Oregon, and I told them before the season that this turnaround here, following the Notre Dame game, regardless of what happens, you know that there's been a lot of emotion put into it, and now having to go on the road, play in probably as tough a place as there is to play, is going to be a real challenge to our maturity as a football team.
Last question about Notre Dame. The difference between Central Michigan and Notre Dame and the improvement of the defense. I thought Jimmy Herman and the guys, it's almost as if he's turned them loose.
Well, I think he has turned them loose. I think he has a lot of confidence in our safeties. Ernest Shazor has turned the corner here.
Shazor and Jackson,
yes,
being back there, I know being strong up the middle, you like that a lot.
Well, it really, you know, it's like, of course, you don't know anything about baseball, but, you know, to be a great baseball team, you got to be tough up the middle.
And you do?
Someday. That's another.
That's another story.
Day.
We'll have to do another show on that one.
But it is true. You got to be strong up the middle, and Marlon and Ernest really, and Jacob Stewart. This kid's playing a lot of football. So, and I think you know we're not particularly big defense, but we're quick. And we got a lot of guys playing with a lot of enthusiasm, playing together, and it's exciting to watch them.
It sure is. It was exciting to watch them as they beat Notre Dame 38-0. Huge victory for the Wolverines. When we come back, we will meet one of the big guys up front. But first, we hear from John Navarre, who says hard work does indeed pay off.
Yeah, you know, it's always a big game here, and you know, it's not that the ball went our way this time. It's just we worked for it, and we had our time coming, and we worked for it, and we caught it, and we recognized the times that we needed to capitalize an opportunity.
Strengths of this Michigan team in 2003 is expected to be the offensive line. Loaded with experience and talent, right tackle Tony Pape is one of their leaders. A fifth-year senior, Pape says that the preseason hype means nothing. He and his mates have something to prove.
I mean, we were second or third to last in the Big Ten in rushing average, I believe, and that's, you know, that's not Michigan. That's not how, you know, Michigan's known. You know, they're known for being able to run the ball, and so, you know, we kind of want to bring that tradition back.
Handoff, Perry up the middle, little move to the left, open field, down the sideline, 15, 10, 5, he dives forward, touchdown, Michigan! Chris Perry!
We want to be able to control the line of scrimmage and be able to control that clock and put the game in our hands instead of having the game in the other team's hands.
Tony speaks for the entire group when he says they want to produce big time this year. But with that kind of talk comes the inevitable pressure to produce. Bring it on, says Peg.
I think we welcome it because, I mean, we've played together for such a long time. You know, all of us have been around for a while. And, you know, we should be good, you know what I mean? We've been around, we've known the system, we're a lot of fifth-year seniors on the line, so of course we should be good, so we expect, you know, great things out of ourselves.
Besides being the leading edge of the offense, Pape is also a senior leader of the team. Leadership just comes with the territory, according to Big Tony, and he's had plenty of great teachers along the way.
I've learned from great people. I mean, Steve Hutchinson and Jeff Backus were here, and Dave Brand, Maurice Williams, and so I've watched them for 2 years, and then I finally got into a position to be a leader. Now I kind of, you know what to do and know what to expect and how to lead. You know, it's the Michigan culture. It's, you know, what this team is all about, what we stand for and what we represent and what we believe in is hard work and dedication to the team and not to yourself. You know, giving yourself up for a greater, you know, cause or a greater, something greater than yourself.
Well, Tony Pape's one of those big guys up front, and I love offensive linemen.
I love Tony Pape.
I know.
I love him.
For a coach, though, an offensive line that's able to do that, it's like a security blanket, isn't it?
Well, Jim, right now we have great confidence, and that's a big part of it. And they've been together, and there's a will. You have to have a will.
But you also, as coaches, I think, made a commitment, I think, in the offseason that we will run the ball. And I think the offensive line has responded to that, Tony included.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a pride thing.
Yes, it is. You bet it is.
Well, you're part
That's
of
why
it.
I was mad at you Saturday when you didn't try to pound the ball in on the goal line that one possession.
I'll tell you. I'm disappointed.
If I can second guess you, who can? You remember, this is me showing you that patting on the back is not.
I'm not going to argue with you, Jim. So don't start.
That's a first. When we come back, we'll take a look at Oregon. They are next on the Wolverine schedule. But first, we hear some from Larry Stevens, who says there's no resting on the Wolverines' laurels these days.
Letdown. Wow. That's unheard of. No, we're no letdowns. We're going for the whole season. We play game by game, game by game. We're going 100% no matter who we're playing against. This is time to play. Now it's Oregon.
It's maize and blue and says Michigan, you'll find it at the M-Den. Whether toddler or grandparent, the perfect Go Blue gift ideas can be found at all M-Den locations, including Briarwood Mall, Ann Arbor, Laurel Park Place, Livonia, and 12 Oaks Mall, Novi. For the free Michigan Athletic Department catalog, call us at 1-800-462-5836 or online at www.mgoblue.com. Live the tradition at the M-Den. Now, the Les Stanford Chevrolet Locker Room Report.
From what I hear, I've never been out on the West Coast. I wasn't out there for Washington my freshman year. But I hear Oregon's another loud stadium. We know it's going to be tough out there, so we got to come ready to play, too.
Well, Matt Lentz is absolutely right, because it's going to be tough in Oregon. It's your first road game of the year. It's on the West Coast, and you got to take on a very talented football team with some interesting uniforms.
Well, Mike Bellotti, I think one of the outstanding coaches in the country, has really done a great job building the Oregon program. And Jim, they're a wide open offensive football team. They like to run the football, screens and draws, and throw the ball downfield.
And some serious skill. And he's actually operating with two quarterbacks, Kellen Clemens and Jason Fife.
Well, and you know, he obviously really likes them both because he has played both of them throughout the season. He talked to them in the preseason about the fact that he liked his quarterback situation.
But the guy that you really like is Sammy Parker.
This guy's the real deal now. I mean, Jim, when you average 19 yards a catch, I mean, you lead the universe. So Parker and they do a great job. They rotate 3 backs in there. They've even got a 4th that they talking about playing a freshman. So yeah, this is going to be a real challenge for our defense, particularly because of the skill involved.
And Devin Long is one of their better defensive ends. Kevin Mitchell, inside linebacker, here getting in there. And you like their free safety, Keith Lewis.
Well, I like the way they play defense. They hustle, they give you a lot of looks, and you know, they're going to try to gang up on you and stop the run and force you to throw the football.
And this is the point where I think we get back to you're coming off a great emotional victory over Notre Dame, and you're going on the road. And you know, one little stub of the toe can cost you big time. And this is a quality team you cannot look past.
Well, there's no question. And Jim, recently we've not been very successful on the West Coast. We've played some outstanding football teams: UCLA, Washington, now Oregon. And you know, that they're dedicating the new stadium there, or at least an addition to it. And there's been a lot of hype about this game. So, you know, it's another one of those games nationally that get a lot of attention.
Well, the other thing, and you talked about it after the game, you said, after this game, we've now got the bullseye on our back. And it just got really big.
Well, you know, that's what you have to deal with a lot of the time when you're at Michigan. That's the fun part.
Exactly.
But it's not easy.
But you've got to know it's coming, and that's why you come to school at Michigan.
Well, I should have you come over and speak to the team.
No, I think
they're
you can
18,
do
19, 20 years old.
You can do just
I just
as good
hope
a
they
job.
listen.
Do you think they will?
I hope.
Well, you've got it, and that's part of the coaching thing.
Yeah, well,
it's the toughest part, because you are dealing with 19-year-old kids that everybody's telling them how great they are, and you got to tell them we're not that great yet.
Well, I think this team, they've got high goals, and if you can stay focused on your goals, you got a chance, and that's really our challenge, because Oregon is an outstanding football team. I don't care what anybody has to say.
And because of their skill, they're going to present big problems defensively, aren't they?
Absolutely. And our ability to communicate is going to be very, very difficult because of the noise.
It will be a dandy, Lloyd. Congratulations on a big win against Notre Dame. Good luck next week.
Thanks, Jim. Great to be with you again.
It's good to be with you, and we are glad.
Some days are more fun than others.
You know, right when I want to get a good close
I
going,
apologize.
we are glad that you joined us, too. Join us next week. We'll see how Michigan does against the Ducks. That's next week.